In heaven, I don't. Well, in heaven, I'm neither male nor female. But as the angels of God in heaven. Here, I happen to be a male. So, that basically means I'm constructed in a way that I'm better with a wife than without. I'm good at some things, if you like being strong, and not so good at others, if you like being warm and gentle. I could be warm and strong. Forget the warm bit. On Earth, I have to breathe. In heaven, I don't need to. But on Earth, I have to. It would be foolish to deny this breathing and simply say, oh, well, I'm going to behave the same as I am in heaven. I'm going to stop breathing. Oh, really? Not sure it's a good idea. On Earth, I need to eat. In heaven, I don't. Does that mean I should have a perpetual fast on Earth to be like I should be in heaven? No, I don't think so. The body doesn't seem to prosper that way. It seems to die quite quickly. It's a bit like not breathing. So, the perfection of not breathing and not eating too much, which is not eating at all. And no. You do what you need to do in the environment you're in, given who you are and what you have. You are not just allowed to meet your needs, you're meant to meet your needs. And then, with your surplus of resources, time, and opportunity, you meet others' needs. If you don't do that, well, you're not much use to others because you're running at such a low level of prosperity yourself. Now, you don't have unlimited surplus. You can only spend your surplus. So you allocate it with some priority. What are your responsibilities and priorities? What determines the priority? Well, knowing about it is a good start. I mean, I could spend, of course, all my energies and surplus on knowing more and not doing anything other than know more. That doesn't seem quite right. So, in some sense, it's implied that that which is closest to me is of more likely priority. I help the person I know. I don't spend all my resources on finding out how many people I don't know and what their needs are. Some people, like my kids, are going to get a very poor deal if I don't give them priority because nobody else will, or less likely to. Less likely to give them the same priority. And in this culture, you seem to need a dad. So I'm going to be a good dad to my kids. That's, if you like, next on my priority. But survival is my first. It's a bit like in the aeroplane. You're advised to deal with yourself first in an emergency, and then the kids. Put the oxygen mask on yourself, and then attend to the kids. Because without oxygen, you're not going to last very long, and nobody will be there to look after the kids, so they'll go anyway. So no, I don't seek celibacy. I don't seek being single. I'm likely to be constantly distracted and risk of antisocial, chaotic behaviour if I'm not with a partner. Oh, well, that's a surprise. What's the best solution for the wild young man? Well, to settle down. Find someone he thinks is absolutely wonderful. Make her his priority. Start a family. Spend his life in earnest. Devoted to his family. Not putting everything into his family. Only that which is needed, a priority, for their sakes. And as a family, you have a surplus of time and opportunity, resources. And you use this on families that are particularly, well, first of all, within reach, you know of, that you relate to well and can help when you see a need. And you can be a blessing to, and seems to achieve the most good. There's no point in giving your resources to a family that's going to waste it and be no better off for you doing so. But a family that is helped to be a more complete family because of your help. Perhaps you help with feeding the kids. Perhaps you help with feeding the adults. Well, that seems very good, doesn't it? How nice. Thank you, Dad. So yes, I have a view of how we'll be in heaven. It's not my situation on earth that calls for a different pattern of life, an appropriate pattern of life to who I am here on earth. I'm content with that. Do it well. And you'll find that God has had you go through this experience for a very good reason, that you might move towards life eternal. Bless you, and you are blessed because of your heavenly Dad. How lovely. Thank you, Dad. Now, part of my situation may be that for some reason or other I can't find a partner. This may be of some cost to me. It might be best that I don't, in desperation, so to speak, or behave as if I'm desperate, unless I am. But assuming I'm not desperately driven, it might be best to make the best of the situation I am in. But it's always best to make the best of the situation you are in. That's by definition, isn't it? So it may be the case that simply having the wrong wife can be worse than a bigger deprivation to me than not having a wife. And not only that, but there may be compensations you haven't actually thought of, which are that if I don't have the wife, I've got obviously resources now, in as far as I have got some surpluses still when I meet the needs that I can meet, and I can use these resources to being a help to others with the usual priority argument. Who do I help And in other words, you see, if I have a situation where I don't have the responsibilities of a married life, well, my next priority, call on my surplus after supplying what I need for myself, is to help others. I may have more children that way, and that I've got more people, more children I'm looking after, adults or children, whatever you like to call them, more people I'm looking after than if I were married, because I have a great surplus. Or it may be that if I were married, well, I'd be able to help a lot of people because I have a greater surplus. For some reason or other, the married family might be more able to have spare resources and time to help others. But whatever. And I could find actually in my deprived state of not having a wife, the circumstances are better. You know, I'm now maybe loved by so many people that I have more than the fellowship I might have had as a family man, in some strange way. And more of the blessings and help too. So, what happens then if I choose not to have a wife? Well, let me point out a feature that some needs that are not met vanish. The best example are those needs that are addictions, or in fact actually harmful. There seems to be a need that I keep up the intake, say, of coffee, but it's actually better for me if I stop drinking coffee. And my life's better for it. Now, the need to have a partner might be driven, for instance, by a great desire to make love. But a situation of not making love can result in greater need, but can actually result in not needing. You know, it's not an issue. Whereas the person who makes love, it's not an issue having made love, but within a short period of time needs to make love again. Well, that's okay if your partner's similarly matched. But if your partner is not so similarly matched, then it leaves some edginess for both of you, in that you're not actually meeting each other's needs, or you're being pressed to go a way that is not quite appropriate for you. The person, therefore, who's gone through, if you like, the need barrier and no longer is bothered whether they have sex or not, is the happier. So, that's a complication on this simple plan, isn't it? And it faces the reality that there are ways of living that are superior to what you might think was the best way. So you might think it's best for you to get married, but in fact it might not be. You might think it's best for you to eat meat, for instance, But you might find it's not. You might think it's best to go for an hour's run every day. But you might find that it's not. And this may depend on who you are in particular. You may find that you are a man, but you are a man, but you don't need to have a wife. In fact, you're much more focused on a life that's devoted to something or other. Might be sport. You know, you'd rather be racing your motorbike than married. At least for a decade or two. You're unusual, but then you're an outstanding motorcyclist. You might be a nerd, an academic. You're totally hooked on what you do. You're not driven to have a wife in the same way. Okay. What is your need? That's what you should be responding to. Wisely, of course, with a view to the future and what you value. What will be best for you in terms of both your present and your future. They're both important. If you totally deny the present, there will be no future. If you totally deny the future, well, that sounds like a death certificate, doesn't it? Sounds like you need to know thyself. Know thyself, okay? You need to do some inquiry. Don't spend your whole life trying to do it. That would be a waste of resources, but spend some resources whilst you seem to be getting a good return. Continue to search it out. Who are you and what do you truly need? What is your priority? Now, you're an individual. You're not necessarily the same as the next person, the next man or the next woman, or the next child. So we have quite a variety on earth. How wonderful. Must be for a reason. Thank you, Dad.